Don't worry, we've all been there. Yes, that feeling when you're stuck, overwhelmed, or just don't know which way to turn. Whether it's a big decision, a life transition, or just one of those days. Today I'm going to share 10 powerful strategies to help you get unstuck and move forward, even when you're unsure about what to do next. What to do when you don't know what to do. Number 1, pause and breathe. It might sound too simple, but taking a moment to stop and reset can make a huge difference. We often get caught up in the rush of our thoughts, running through a million possibilities, feeling pressure to make a decision right away. That's when we're most likely to make hasty choices or get stuck in a cycle of anxiety. But here's the thing, you don't have to have all the answers right this second. Taking a few deep breaths gives your body and mind the chance to catch up. When you focus on your breath, you're shifting your attention away from the chaos and back to the present moment. It helps release physical tension and calm your nervous system. Breathing deeply allows your mind to clear, even if it's just for a minute. You'll find that the panic or overwhelm starts to melt away, and you're left with a sense of clarity that was buried underneath all that stress. It's like pushing the reset button on your mental state. In those few quiet moments, you give yourself space to think clearly and make better choices. You might not come up with a perfect solution immediately, but you'll be in a better place to approach the situation with a calm, focused mind. So next time you feel like you're stuck or drowning in decisions, remember, take a breath, pause, and reset. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply give yourself permission to slow down, gather your thoughts, and move forward with more confidence. Number 2. Let go of perfectionism. Perfectionism can be one of the biggest roadblocks to progress. We often feel like we need to get everything just right, the perfect decision, the perfect outcome, the perfect plan. But the truth is, you don't need to be perfect to move forward. In fact, holding on to perfectionism can keep you stuck in a cycle of self-doubt and fear. You become so focused on avoiding mistakes that you freeze, afraid to take any action at all. But here's the thing, making mistakes and taking risks is actually an essential part of the process. It's how we learn, grow, and figure out what works and what doesn't. Nobody has all the answers from the start. Every successful person, every great idea has gone through trial and error. Progress is built on taking action, even if that action isn't flawless. When you let go of the need to get it right every time, you open yourself up to more opportunities, more experiences, and more growth. Instead of aiming for perfection, aim for progress. Even small steps forward matter. Every decision you make, no matter how imperfect, is a step toward what you want. And often, it's the mistakes and missteps that teach you the most valuable lessons. You'll never have all the pieces of the puzzle before you start, but as you move forward, you'll gather the pieces and start to see the bigger picture. So remember this, progress over perfection, always. Don't let the fear of being imperfect hold you back. Embrace the process, trust yourself, and know that every step, even the ones that feel like mistakes, getting you closer to where you want to be. Number 3, break it down. Sometimes it's not about the big picture. It's about the small, manageable steps that lead you toward it. Instead of focusing on everything you have to do, try breaking it down into smaller, bite-sized chunks. Ask yourself, what's the very first thing I can do to move forward? It might be something simple, like making a phone call, writing an email, or doing a bit of research. By focusing on one small task at a time, you take the pressure off yourself. When you break things down, they don't feel as daunting. You'll find that tackling the first step, no matter how small, gives you a sense of accomplishment and momentum. Once you've done one thing, it becomes easier to do the next, and then the next. This process of taking small, intentional actions helps you make steady progress without getting overwhelmed. Think of it like climbing a mountain. If you focus only on the peak, it can feel like you'll never get there. But if you take it step by step, one foot in front of the other, you'll reach the top before you know it. Start small and build momentum from there. Each step you complete brings you closer to the bigger goal, and as you make progress, you'll start to feel more confident. It's not about rushing to the finish line, it's about moving forward, even if it's just a little bit at a time. You've got this, one step at a time. Number 4, get curious. Sometimes the best way to move forward when you're feeling stuck is to get curious. I know it sounds counterintuitive, especially when you feel like you should be actively solving the problem or figuring everything out right away. But often, the answers we're searching for come when we step back and give ourselves the space to explore without the pressure. So what does getting curious look like? It might be something as simple as going for a walk, reading a book on a completely different topic, or listening to a podcast that sparks your interest. By stepping away from your problem and diving into something new, you give your brain the freedom to wander and make unexpected connections. Sometimes the ideas you need don't come when you're actively trying to force them, but rather when you're gently open to new experiences or knowledge. It's like letting your mind stretch in different directions. When you're not hyper-focused on one thing, your subconscious often starts piecing things together in surprising ways. Suddenly, a fresh perspective might pop up, or you might stumble upon a piece of information that makes everything click. That's the magic of curiosity. It allows new ideas and insights to flow in naturally. When you give yourself permission to explore without expecting immediate results, you might be surprised by the answers that come to you when you least expect them. So try to let go of the pressure for a moment. Take time to explore, try something new, and stay open. Your next great idea might just be waiting for you around the corner in a book or in the middle of a random conversation. Stay curious. It's one of the most powerful tools you have. Number 5, trust your instincts. I get it. Sometimes it's hard to trust that gut feeling, especially when the stakes are high and you don't feel 100% sure about the outcome. But here is the truth. You won't always have all the answers, and that's perfectly okay. Life is unpredictable, and trying to control every possible outcome can actually hold you back from moving forward. Sometimes the best thing you can do is to listen to your intuition, even if it's just a small nudge in one direction. Your gut often knows more than you give it credit for. It's based on your experiences, your values, and your sense of what feels right for you. That's why when you're feeling stuck, it's important to trust that internal guidance. It may not give you a perfect solution, but it will point you toward the next step. You don't have to make every decision perfectly or have everything mapped out. Taking one small step forward, even if you're unsure, can create momentum and open up new insights along the way. And here is the key: you can always adjust as you go. Life isn't a straight line, and things don't always unfold exactly as planned. But if you trust your instincts and take action, you give yourself the opportunity to learn and adjust as needed. Remember, you don't need to have it all figured out right away. Trust yourself and take that first step. You might be surprised at how much clarity comes from simply moving forward, even if it's just a little at a time. Number 6, assess your options. It's easy to get lost in your thoughts, especially when you're juggling multiple things at once. But the simple act of writing things down can help clear up the mental clutter. I know it might sound a little old-fashioned, but trust me, it works. When you put your options on paper, You're not just organizing your thoughts, you're allowing yourself to see things more clearly and objectively. Start by listing out everything that's on your mind, no matter how big or small. It might feel like there's too much going on, but writing it all down helps you see your choices laid out in front of you. Once you've done that, you can take a step back and look at each option one by one. What are the pros and cons? What are the potential outcomes of each choice? Even if you don't have all the answers right away, simply having your options visualized helps reduce the feeling of being overwhelmed. It gives you a sense of control, even when everything feels uncertain. What's more, this process allows you to tap into your intuition. As you write, you might find that some choices stand out more than others, or that certain options don't feel quite right. That's your inner wisdom speaking. The act of writing everything down gives you the space to pause, reflect, and make a decision that feels aligned with your values and goals. You don't have to rush into anything, but seeing your options clearly can help guide you toward the right next step with more confidence. Number 7, ask for help. You don't have to do it all by yourself. Sometimes the simple act of talking to someone you trust, a friend, family member, or mentor, can provide the clarity you've been searching for. You'd be amazed at how often a fresh perspective can shine a new light on a problem that seemed impossible to solve on your own. Talking things through with someone else doesn't just help you get advice or answers. It helps you process what's going on in your own mind. When you're overwhelmed, it can be hard to organize your thoughts and figure out the best course of action. But by sharing your thoughts with someone else, you give yourself the chance to hear your own ideas out loud. Often, just voicing your feelings can help you understand them more clearly. And remember, asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength and wisdom. Recognizing that you don't have all the answers is actually an important part of growth. People who care about you want to support you, and sometimes their insight or just their willingness to listen can make all the difference. Whether it's advice, reassurance, or simply someone who's there for you, reaching out for help can turn a confusing, overwhelming situation into something more manageable. So don't hesitate to lean on the people around you. You don't have to have it all figured out alone. Asking for help can be the key to moving forward with confidence and clarity. Number 8. Do nothing for a while. Sometimes when you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed, the best thing you can do is nothing. I know that might sound strange, especially when you feel like you should be doing something to fix the situation right away. But here is the thing. Taking a break, even if it's just for a little while, can be one of the most productive things you can do. When you're deep in a problem or decision, it's easy to get caught up in a cycle of overthinking and stress. The more you try to figure it out, the more tangled your thoughts become. That's when stepping away can actually help you gain the clarity you need. Taking a break doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're giving yourself the space to breathe, to reset, and to come back with fresh eyes. When you allow yourself to disconnect, you give your brain a chance to rest and recharge. Often, when you return to the issue later, you'll find that the solution is clearer, or that your perspective has shifted in ways you couldn't have predicted. It's like when you're trying to remember a word or name, you can't quite pull it out of your mind. But when you stop thinking about it, the answer just pops up. Giving yourself permission to step away is an act of self-care and trust in the process. You don't have to force every decision or solve everything in one go. Taking time for yourself can be exactly what you need to gain new insights, recharge, and approach the situation with a clearer, more focused mind. So if you're feeling overwhelmed or stuck, don't be afraid to do nothing for a while. Sometimes doing less is exactly what will get you closer to the answer. Number 9. Reflect on what's important. When you're unsure about what to do next, one of the most helpful things you can do is to reflect on what's truly important to you. Take a step back from the situation and think about your core values, your long-term goals, and what you really want out of life. What matters most to you right now? Is it family, freedom, personal growth, security, or something else? Understanding what drives you at a deeper level helps you make decisions that are more aligned with your true self, not just your immediate circumstances. By tapping into your values, you can better evaluate the options in front of you. Ask yourself, does this decision align with my bigger picture? Is it moving me closer to the person I want to be or the life I want to create? When you can measure your choices against your values, the decision-making process becomes much clearer. Even if you can't predict every outcome, if the choice you're considering is in line with what's important to you, it's easier to trust that you're on the right path. This kind of reflection brings you back to your why, the deeper purpose behind your actions. It's easy to get lost in the details or the noise of day-to-day life. But when you connect with what truly matters to you, decisions start to feel less confusing. You gain confidence knowing that you're choosing what is best for you in the long run. So whenever you feel stuck, take a moment to reflect on your values and long-term vision. Aligning your choices with what's most important to you will always lead you closer to the life you want to live. Number 10, accept the uncertainty. We often feel like we need to have everything figured out, like we need a clear plan, a perfect solution, or an exact roadmap to follow. But here is the truth. Life isn't always clear-cut, and that's okay. It's completely normal to feel uncertain, especially when you're at a crossroads or facing a big decision. In fact, uncertainty is a natural part of the process, not something to be feared or avoided. When you embrace the discomfort of not knowing exactly what comes next, you free yourself from the pressure of having to control every outcome. It's okay to not have all the answers right away. Not knowing what's next doesn't mean you're lost. It means you're in a space of growth and exploration. Uncertainty opens the door to possibility. It allows you to stay open to new opportunities, take risks, and adjust your path as you go. Life doesn't always give you perfect clarity at the start, but as you move forward, you begin to see the pieces fall into place. The more you accept that you don't need to have it all figured out, the more you can trust yourself to make the best decision with the information you have. And sometimes that's all you need, the courage to take one step without knowing exactly where it will lead. So instead of resisting the uncertainty, embrace it. Know that it's part of the journey. You don't have to have everything figured out right away. Trust that as you move forward, clarity you seek will come in time. Remember, it's okay to feel uncertain, and it's okay to not have all the answers. Life is a journey, and sometimes the best way forward is simply taking that first step. Let me know in the comments which of these strategies you've found helpful, or if you have your own go-to techniques for when you're feeling stuck. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with anyone who could use a little extra guidance today. Thanks for watching, and remember, you've got this.